Hey Python, add these two things together. 5 liter of milk and 5.6 feet of height. And now let's see what happens next. Just control enter and it will execute this thing. And here you can see this unsupported operation, integer and string. Now you just simply see this error. Python is saying these are two different kinds of values. One is number and the another is string. We as a human knows 5 liter and 5.6 feet, they don't belong to each other. And that is why we don't add them. In Python, that kind of value is called as data type. A data type tells Python which operations are allowed and which are not. And that is why when we are learning Python, understanding of data type is very important. When we understand data type, we can predict the behavior and we can avoid the errors. So that is why data type is important. Now, in order to understand data type, it is important to understand variable first. So what we'll do now, we first verify what is variable, then data and data type. And then we'll go for main data type categories that you use every day. Now just imagine this is a jar named with sugar. This name on jar sugar is called the variable. And what is inside that jar is called data. A variable is a name that points to a value, like label on this jar. The data is the content that is inside this jar. Now this data can be of different types, like milk we measure in liter. There could be data like height of a person, and that we measure in feet. The data can be some handwritten note. So we have varieties of data around us, and like this, even Python has varieties of data. Now here let me show you this. Here A is indicate different data type and B indicate different data type. Let's execute, and over here you can see A is integer, a numeric data type, and B is a string, a text data type. So like this, there are varieties of data type in Python. And now let's see what are the different data types in Python. In Python, built-in data types are grouped into following categories. The first is numeric type. Now before we start, let me tell you that here in this video, I'm going to explain you, I'm going to make you understand what exactly this data type is. And then in upcoming videos, we are going to explore each of the data type in detail. Okay, so keep this thing in mind. And now we'll start with the first data type, that is numeric type. Here, see this jar, which is full of chocolate. You don't measure chocolates, right? You count them like 1, 2, 3, and that is an integer thing. Now let's fill this jar with milk. Now you don't count milk in 1, 2, 3. You measure it like 1 liter, 1.5 liter, 1.25 liter, right? So here this 1, 1.5, 1.25, it's a floating point. So we have this type of variety. So the same way in Python also, we need a data type which can hold all numeric data. And that is why we have numeric type in Python. This numeric type represents quantities used for counting and measurements. Let me show you the example. Here we have C, D and E. Now let me execute this thing. And here you can see C is integer, D is float, and the last one E is complex. In this console also you can see C is integer, D is float, and E is complex number. And these are the values. So from this it's clear that numeric type has three subtypes: integer, float and complex. We'll explore numeric type in detail in our upcoming videos. Here we are just understanding what exactly the data type is. So now before we move ahead, I would like to ask you a quick question. And the question is this: which numeric subtype would you use for 0.5 liter of indication? Your options are integer, float and complex. Just think over it and write your answer into the comments. I hope you have written the answer. And now let's move ahead. The next data type that we are going to discuss is text. Now let's understand it. Now here we have a box with one sheet having one line of text written inside that sheet. Now that written line is simply characters in order, right? These are different characters written in order. So the same way in Python, we need a data type which holds only text data. And for that purpose, we have text or string data type. So here we have an example of text string, right? Basically, this text data type or a string represents a sequence of characters used for label, name, message, or any kind of ID. You can use it for anything. Like here, F represents learning vibes, hello world. Here we are adding two words. Let me execute this thing and show you. Learning vibes, hello world, subscribe to learning vibes. And here you can see F, G, and H, they are string data type. So after this, now the next data type is sequence type. In Python, we need a data type that holds item in order. So the sequence represents an ordered collection of data. There are three types in sequence: list, tuple, and range. Now to understand this little bit more in detail, let me give you an example. Imagine a rack holding jars in a row. First jar, second jar, third jar. Here, order matters because when we ask, hey, give me the third jar, we get exactly what we want. And this analogy is similar to the list data type in sequence category. Imagine your report card. The information on report card is fixed. You cannot alter or you cannot remove the field. You can only read them. This is more like tuple in Python. In report card, everything is ordered, right? You cannot erase or remove something. You can just read it, right? So that is why it is like tuple. Now we'll see the third one, and that is range. It generates a predictable run of numbers: start, stop, and step. Now let me show you the example of all these three. So here we have a list of items, recipe, and tickets. This is called range: start, stop, and step. Now why this looks little bit different, all these details we are not going to discuss right now here. That I'm going to explain you in detail because this requires a separate in detail understanding video. But currently just understand what is sequence. If you understand sequence, then other things will be easy to understand in successive video, right? So let's run this segment and you can see here item, all these three: sugar, salt, and tea, and they are string. If we go for tuple, they are string. This is integer number and string. And then we have range, right? So we are going to understand this in detail, but in upcoming videos. Now let's go for the next. But before we go to the next, let me ask you a quick short question over here so that you can have an idea that whether you are understanding it properly or not. So your question is this: which sequence subtype generates a predictable run of numbers? It's list, tuple, or range? Write your answer into the comments. Now the next type is bullion. When we are generally talking about some logics, we want answer in either yes or no. Have you subscribed to Learning Vibes? It's either yes or no. And then based on this, we want to make decision. If you have subscribed, big thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, then please subscribe. So here the answer is logical, either yes or no. In Python, the Boolean data type stores the same kind of thing: true or false. Here we have I, J, and we are going to check J. Let's execute this thing. And here you can see the type of J is Boolean, pull. Here in console also you can check. After this, the next data type is mapping. In Python, the mapping type stores data as key value pairs for fast lookups. Here, the important thing is key value pairs. This pairing is important. A key is a tag or a name that you can use to point out the value, and the value is the data that is linked to the key. So they both are interlinked. Let me show you the example to better clarify this. Just imagine that for a marriage function or for any dinner or lunch function, you are making list of items that could be required on dinner table. So you write like dish 5, bowl 20, spoon 10, napkins 12. So here dish is a tag, and how many dish? 5. That is the data which is linked with that tag or key. So you understood this. Here bowl is key and the value inside that bowl is 20. That indicates that we require 20 bowl, right? Let me execute this thing, and here we are seeing bowl, right? That indicates 20. Now let me show you this variable dinner set. See, these are the keys: bowl, dish, napkin, spoon, and these are the value attached to this keys. Right now just remember this much only. In detail understanding we'll see later on. So I think this concept is clear. Key value pair in mapping. After this, the next data type is set. A set stores unique items. Now remember this thing, this is very important, unique items. If you add the same value multiple times, it keeps only one copy. The other important characteristics of set is it has no guaranteed order. They don't remember position like we did earlier. Give me the third jar and it will count first, second, and third, and it will give exactly the third jar. But here, this set is different than that. Here, it stores only unique value and no guaranteed order. Just to understand this, think of a family function. Everyone is told to make a guest list. So the guest names gets written by many people. Now no fixed order that first name should be this, second should be this, third is this, right? There is no fixed order, just whatever comes to mind, we note it down. And then when we prepare final list, we don't keep repeats. If Asha repeats 3 times from 3 different people, we keep this only for 1 time. And that is the set. Names are unique and order does not matter. Here is the example of this. This is our guest list, and now here we are creating a set of this guest list. When we execute this, here you can see our final list. Asha, Ravi, Meera. Only 3 names. No fixed order and no repeats. After this, the next data type is binary type. Binary types stores row bytes, numbers from 0 to 255 rather than readable text. Here we have readable text, learning vibes, hello world. In bytes, it stores data in number form. Let me show you how to create this byte, right? And here you can see the type of K is bytes. How to write, how to create, that we'll see in upcoming videos. Basically, this byte data form are used when we want to store files, images, audios, right? That kind of data when we want to store, we'll go with this data type. And now the next data type is special or null type. None is a Python's special no value marker. It means nothing here is yet or nothing is found. It belongs to the type of none data. It means this none data type means nothing is here yet. For this, just think of a jar with label anything, but the jar is empty so that you can keep something in that jar later on. And this is the true purpose of this special or null type of data. That's empty reserved jar which can be used later for some different purpose. That's how you can create null data type. Here you can see none type, none. So till now, here we have understand what are the data types and what exactly it means. Now in next video, we are going to explore each of the data type in detail, its syntax, its technicality, how to use, when to use, where to use, all those things we are going to understand in detail. So see you into the next video of numeric data type. Till now, if you have enjoyed this video and if you have found it useful, then like, share and subscribe.